Join with me today. We got Pete, we got Tim of the band Pickle Juice here to talk about their 2026 EP, The Whiteroom. How we doing, dudes?
Yeah, pretty good.
Doing great, Drew. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man, and I appreciate you coming on the show and here to talk about the tunes a little bit. But before we dive into that, kind of give a little bit of a background of your band.
Yeah. So we're Pickle Juice. We are from Canada, Revelstoke, which is a ski town in British Columbia. And we're just a bunch of ski bums that started playing music 2023. And we just evolved from being like an open mic night band to writing our own music. And then now we're at a point where we're touring quite frequently.
Hell yeah. It's I was introduced to you guys through Adam, and he had recommended I check you guys out, and I gotta say, like I really like the tunes that you guys are making. How would you I guess describe your sound and I guess genre, if you will?
I think our sound. Well, we've got two EPs out now. And it's kind of developed and naturally progressed. I think this EP is a little bit more heavier. But we've all got different backgrounds. There's two Australians, two English guys, and then Canadian. Would you say
Canadian-ish?
Canadian-ish?
I'm a big old mix, but
yeah, we've got a lot of different backgrounds musically. We all kind of come together, and we've evolved into something a bit heavier for this EP.
Yeah. There's definitely like punk influences and indie influences. When we're pitching ourselves to like venues and festivals, we just say alt rock, the blanket term,
Ski bum rock.
Ski bum rock.
We invented our own term.
Pickle rock. Yeah.
That's great. Where does Pickle Juice come from? The band name. How do you determine, or how do you come down to Pickle Juice?
You want to start that one?
Man, I wish there was a really good story for that. And one day I'm going to sit down and come up with some bullshit story. And then from that moment on, that will be the backstory. But for now, I'll just give you the truth, which is we had like a bunch of different names in the early days. Like we were the Mullets, we were Pistol Pete and the Fat Fucks. There were a bunch more.
Tim and the Mullets.
I can't even remember.
The Commonwealth.
Commonwealth Culture Club. Just a bunch of dumb names, Then when we had like our first proper gig, we decided that we needed to like
come up
pull
with
the
something
trigger
more serious
and just settle on a name. And there's 5 of us, so it's really hard to ever make a decision. And that was the only name that people didn't hate. Like nobody.
I dig it.
But everybody was like, okay, I can be Pickle Juice. And then in the end, it's worked out really well because in the early days, people would come dressed as pickles or with like pickle earrings, and people love pickles.
Pickles are great. We love them in the Midwest.
We sell quite a lot of merch just based on the fact we're called Pickle Juice. Yeah. People hate your music, but love pickles.
People will take shots of pickle juice too, just to get something with a bite to it, I guess, too. I've heard of people doing that.
Oh, yeah. So, I couldn't tell you how many picklebacks I've done after shows. Like, I did one. We played at a bowling alley in Cranbrook just on the weekend, and I did a pickleback with a 80-year-old lady and her husband who had dementia. Just after every show, it's like, we got to do a pickleback.
Hell yeah. That's great. Well, so let's dive into The Whiteroom. So this came out in June. It's 5 songs, 17 minutes long, but it's definitely worth a listen, and I truly enjoy it. It begins with a song called Dogma. Talk us through, I guess, the writing process of that. Are the lyrics written by one person? Is it collaborative and you guys kind of all meet together to create the music, or how does that go?
Yeah, generally, at least with the Whiteroom songs, I will write at home, either on an acoustic or an electric or whatever, just a bit of a skeleton of the song. So a rough arrangement and the lyrics. And then I take it to the boys, and then we work on it and develop it quite a lot collectively. Everyone writes their own parts, and it is very collective. from that point on. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think especially with these songs, it worked out well. 'Cause Tim kind of came with the structure, like you said, the skeleton of the songs, but not too precious about what can change and how we can rearrange and kind of all put our own stamp on it. And yeah, with Dogma and I think Halfway, we you and Josh were away, and Josh is our lead guitarist. And then the rhythm section, myself, Tom, and Ben kind of worked on some different arrangements, and them and the boys came back. We all came back together. We kind of put the ideas on the table, and then came to something we were all happy with.
Yeah. What I guess walk through a little bit of like the lyrical aspect of it. Like what is this? What kind of influenced this song? How does it make you feel when you're performing it? Like what's it all about?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, performing it's a lot of fun. It's almost got a bit of like a rappy kind of element to the vocals, and that is like it's the only one of our songs that kind of does that.
Spitting
So
bars.
it's good to spit some balls on stage. Spit bars? Did I say balls?
Spit balls. That's Freudian, so.
But I don't know. I think it's just about being glued to my phone all the time and struggling to not be glued to my phone.
Yeah, it happens, man, and it's a struggle for everybody. I think, especially, I have kids and myself too. I'm always like, what the hell am I looking at? This phone stuff. Like none of this crap is going anywhere, so I can just come back to it at some point. But yeah, it's definitely a hard thing to kick for sure. Where do you come from or I guess when you're titling songs, like what's your process through that? You just kind of throw something on there, or
Yeah, generally it's just something that's already in the song.
okay.
We tend to name all our songs like New Song 1.
Yeah.
And then eventually we're like, oh, we need to name these. So.
Yeah, they'll have like a really basic name, and then they'll have a filler name for when we're playing them live before we've settled on it, and then we record it, and then we're like, oh shit, we got a name. But I think Dogma always had its name.
Dogma was from the start, yeah.
I think I just that it's early in the song, isn't it, where I actually say Dogma. Anyway, yeah. I think that was like the first line that I'd written.
Okay, cool.
So that I sat on that one for a while. So I always knew with that one that was going to be Dogma.
A good song to bring you into an EP for sure, and a record as a whole. Especially with like EPs, like the power of the EP is, you have these 4 or 5 songs that you're throwing together. And I almost think, at least from a consumer side of things, like there's almost more pressure to make a really good EP than there would be to maybe a full length album, because, if you have 1 or 2 stinkers in a full length album, okay. But in an EP, like people are focused on that. Did you kind of have that same feeling, or you're like, we have these collection of songs and we're confident in them?
We had a bigger collection of songs to pull from, actually. So we'd been writing for this EP for over about a 6 to 8 month period, and we'd written about 10-ish songs. So okay. It was just like cutting the fat kind of situation,
Yeah. We really wanted this EP to like flow well from start to finish. The first EP we did, it was like we were just finding our feet, and we recorded tracks separately, and they all felt like a collection of singles maybe that have just been put together. But for this one, we wanted to make it flow. So yeah, we wanted to start hard with a song like Dogma, and then have that congruency throughout the EP.
Yeah, I like your other EP too, Cheeky EP with the boys. This is really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is a fun one, but yeah, I think Dogma is a really good way to kick things off, and then it moves into I Don't Want to Wait. So similar question, like what's meaning behind that, the process, and is there's pretty much one main lyricist in the band?
Yeah, mostly me, and then they'll sometimes make suggestions, and I'll get offended, and then follow their suggestions. Tends to be the way we work. So yeah, but that one, that one's I guess kind of like a story from like another person's perspective, and I wrote the lyrics pretty quickly, and my girlfriend came home from work, and I was like, listen to this song, it's awesome, and then I sang it to her, and then I was like, well, it's not about you because it's actually pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Someone who's obviously like not happy in a relationship, which is not my current relationship at all. So I had to do some backpedaling on that one afterwards. I was like, whoa.
Sometimes it's good to write from that outsider's perspective or from a different perspective because, yeah, it removes kind of yourself from it, and maybe there's more source material there. But I could definitely see how, yeah, you got to explain that to a significant other on like, yeah, I don't want to, this isn't about you, and it's probably easy to assume it's about somebody when they're with you all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, dude. So like when you are coming together with like you said you come together and like kind of create your own parts, is there a lot of like feedback with that, or is it kind of like, okay, here's the bones and you're throwing the bass and this and that? Do you like make tweaks in the recording process, or is it kind of like we're honing it in and now we're doing it?
Like, I think for that song in particular, that's a good example of it, of how we do it. We had an idea, or Tom had an idea, of the song starting with a siren type of sound. And that wasn't something we'd ever done in the practice room. We just knew we wanted to try and replicate it. And we weren't necessarily sure how to go about it. So we tried a few different ways in the studio. We ended up using one of those airbos or ebos. Yeah, that's it. And we spent a bunch of time trying to get that sound, but now it's a staple for that song itself. And without it, I don't think it would sound quite right. So yeah, we had ideas that we took to the studio and spent probably too long on them, but we're quite open in the studio. And our producer David, he has his ideas as well, and he's always great to bounce off.
Awesome.
When we're writing, we try to get it to a point where we can play it live, and then from there we play it live a bunch, and the song is evolving and changing kind of all the way through that process, right up until we're in the studio, and then it's still changing, and then as soon as it's recorded, it's like that's where the song's at. So the songs are always evolving, and we're always making changes and adjustments.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Kicks off then to the next song, which is called Halfway, which I guess it kind of is halfway through the EP, if you will. It's got this like cool, like distorted guitar intro into it, and like I think of a lot of times, like sometimes I feel like I'm like it's a kind of like I get this like surfer vibe to it, which you kind of said, like you get the ski music or whatever. So it's almost like I guess you could apply that to surfer. I don't know why. I think of like maybe it's just because I'm looking at your album artwork and I hear like these guitars and stuff, and I kind of get this like surfer California vibe. Obviously, you're not from California, but that's just kind of like what I get. Is that what you're going for, or is it just, hey, this feels good?
Yeah, I don't think it's what we're ever going for, but there's like two Aussies in the band who just love Aussie surf rock. So I think that influence, kind of what we were talking about earlier, all our different backgrounds subconsciously just come into the music and make a cool little mix.
Yeah, it goes well too, and like I think especially with like your vocals too, like it really blends well with the tunes, and I enjoy Halfway quite a bit. What's that one kind of about?
Yeah, I guess
addiction. Would you say? That's where I would go.
Yeah, I think it's just about like growing up or being in a ski town where you're like kind of there's all sorts of different things that you can take out of it, but I think it's like being stuck in the party cycle, not wanting to be in it.
Yeah, I think I get that. Obviously, like the older I get, I kind of feel that way too, like that party cycle where I'm like, I'll have like 3 beers and then I sleep like shit, and I'm like, why am I doing this? But I'll still do it. But it's I could understand like how that would get a little or exhausting, I would say at times.
Yeah, and especially being in the ski world where like you're trying to get after it all day, and then you just get so like jacked up on adrenaline that the natural step is to hit the pub,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
for sure.
then you're kind of stuck in that cycle of just like adrenaline pub, adrenaline pub, and it doesn't take long before you start writing songs like halfway.
Even like so I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Wisconsin. I don't know if you're familiar with Wisconsin or the Midwest, but Wisconsin's like the beer capital, drinking capital of the United States, I guess. Um, Everything it revolves around drinking. It really does. You go to a 4-year-old birthday party, there's beer there, and it's like this feels inappropriate. But but like you people, so it's like similar kind of in a sense. It's like part of the ingrained in the culture, ingrained in just our way of living. It's like we have to be pounding beers all the time, and then the second you reach for the Diet Coke or the water, your friend's like, "What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
Don't you see there's beer here?" It's like
yeah,
I do see that, but
yeah. I
yeah,
guess it's a pretty universal feeling, eh?
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, it sure is. Do you what kind of feedback do you get when you're writing about like stuff like this, or like halfway? Do you get ever any like um, negative or negative feedback or anything like that, or they're just trying to like say like, what are you trying to say? Like you think you're better than us or things like that, or is it you're just
No,
like, hey, this is my experience?
no, I don't think I've ever really had any kind of feedback um, like that. I generally don't talk to people too much about what I'm trying to say, so um, that's why I am spending a lot of time thinking about it. 'Cause mostly when people ask, I tell them it's none of their business.
Well,
Yeah,
and that's kind of the power of music too, or the power of a song is you can interpret it the way you want to interpret it as a listener.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think having that approach is good as well. It's like if people can take different interpretations of the same lyrics and apply it to their own lives in different ways, then it's two
Yeah.
birds with one stone.
yeah.
And then it jumps into the second to last song. It's called "A Little More Time." So walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, a little more time. That's our slow song. It used to be called "Sad Song." Just to give you some background, but it's basically like an homage for friends that aren't around anymore. But from the writing standpoint, it was a song that I'd been working on for a long time, and I struggled to get it up off the ground. And I feel like it had been written in a bunch of different sections and then just
Mhm.
jankily slapped together. And we got it to a point where we were playing it live. It never felt right, but we felt like we wanted it on the EP. And then it wasn't till just before we went into the studio, we sent some rough demos to our producer David, and he just ripped that song apart and helped us actually like make it a song, because it
I think
definitely,
we had like 5 or 6 different renditions of
yeah.
like we tried a bunch of different things with that and we played live with it in a few different ways.
Mhm.
Okay.
Initially, I had a bit of an anti-chorus where it like built up and then just
Dropped off,
dropped
yeah,
into
slowed
something
down.
like quite mellow and had the very
Yeah.
similar melodies all the way through. And David really worked with us to make it what it is now.
And that's good to have that outside perspective too, because I think when you invest yourself in a project or you're creating something, you're really putting yourself into it, where you might get that tunnel vision, and then you give it to someone else, and they're like, "Well, tweak it a little bit," and and then it polishes it a little bit or makes it, the finished product with it. Which, yeah, it's a great song. I really enjoy this one as well, and um, yeah, experiences that a lot of people have. And you said, it's about like losing people in your life, losing friends, and unfortunately, as you grow, and that happens, and it sucks.
Mhm.
Dives into the final song then on the EP. We are at Back 40. Walk us through that one a little bit. And when you went through the listing, were you strategic in the order of the song? I know you said you kind of wanted them all to like feel like it's one kind of piece and like kind of flow in a cohesive manner. But where you could there, could a little more time have been a last one rather than back 40?
Yeah, I think we toyed around with a few different orders for the EP, but yeah, I don't know, this one just felt right, and I think with the way that back 40 starts, and obviously the slowing it down a little bit with a little more time. Back 40 is like the big intro. We kind of feel like we kind of took that intro or parts of it from Beastie Boys Sabotage.
Yeah.
We used to do a little cover of that. So yeah, subconsciously, I think that kind of came out, and yeah, it just builds, and then I think the ending as well is a natural ending for an EP, and we wanted to make a big statement with that last song. So I feel like
Now that you say it, I definitely see where you get that Sabotage vibe.
yeah.
Even with like the little guitar lick at the beginning, but it's in a good way. In a good way, you're not like you were influenced by it, and it made a good song. So
Yeah, I
it's
think we realized that. I mean, it's not. I don't think it sounds exactly the same or anything, but yeah, it
no,
definitely takes influences, and it was after the fact we realized that. But
that's all
yeah,
right.
yeah,
You're allowed to take liberties and allowed to have some
Yeah.
influences. That's for sure. What's back 40? What's that one about?
I think it's like a breakup song with your younger self.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can
Just
see that.
moving on, but
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of holding on to who you were. Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. Reflecting a little bit on your once younger self. I don't think my younger self would believe anything I would have to say in my mid 30s. He would tell me I'm a fucking idiot, and he might be right. But yeah, so that wraps up. That puts it together. The Whiteroom, a really good EP. You guys have been releasing a good amount of music, since your formation and kind of like really hit the ground running. Are there any other things you got going on for the rest of the year? Anything in the future that you have? Maybe like a full length or anything like that?
Yeah, that's the plan. We've been on the road since May, like most weekends, playing out of town. So we've got one more show this coming weekend, and then we're gonna take a big long break and do some more writing and yeah, try and get into the studio.
Yeah, I think like the pretty much the whole time we've been a band, we've just been getting after it and gigging out of town, gigging in town, and
Oh yeah.
it's going to be the first sort of extended period where we have to sit down and really dial in on what we want to do and what we want the album to sound like. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. If somebody is hearing you all for the first time, where would you suggest they start?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I think with the Whiteroom,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what we're most proud of. I think it's definitely more like dynamic songwriting and um, I mean, it's what we're pushing right now. So
I'd say halfway if you listen to it, if you need one song, halfway. It's the one that's done the best for us on the EP so far. We were lucky enough; we got picked up on the NHL broadcasting on Sportsnet.
nice.
I think it's our most complete song. Yeah, from a production point and tightness and different elements to the song. So
Hell yeah.
halfway.
I think it's a really good EP, and it's cool to hear, younger bands who are working at it and doing the work and getting out there, because so often I fall in the trap, and I think a lot of other people do, is they just listen to the same old, same old. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but at the same time, there's a ton of good talent out there. So whenever I get the opportunity to hear something new, hear a new band, I'm pretty pumped about it. And like I said, I listened to the Whiteroom first, and then I dove into your second EP, and I enjoyed them very much. But I think you've kind of touched on it before, like that first EP is a little bit different than the Whiteroom, but they're still both really solid.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So if people want to get in contact or see what's going on, if they want to pour piles of money into you guys and get all your merch and all your music, where can they do that?
Our website will link you to everywhere. That's picklejuiceband.com. And then, yeah, we're on Instagram, TikTok, everything. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, Pete and Tim, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you talking, and I wish you the best of luck in the future, and hopefully you can make it to the Midwest and we can enjoy a show.
One day, for
One
sure.
day, yeah. We just got to get across the border.
Thank you very much,
Drew.
Drew.
Appreciate it.